Lovely bookish friends. I'm Heather and welcome to Belle's Library. Today we are going to be talking about some of my most read authors of 2020. I actually saw this video originally from Liz over at Liz Reads. I will put that down below for you guys so you can check out her video and her channel. I definitely feel like we have some similar reading taste, as well as I just relate to her as a mom, and we just seem to just have similar vibes happening, and so I really enjoy her channel, and I'm glad that I found her recently, so you guys should definitely check her out. And as far as authors go this year, I definitely knew a few of the authors that were going to be on this list. But there was a few that I was like, oh yeah, okay. I mean, that makes sense, but I didn't put it fully together. So we're going to talk about, I don't know, maybe have like 10 authors or something that are like my most read for the year. And yeah, let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, so let's start with an obvious and easy one. I knew that Taylor Jenkins Reid was going to be on this list. She is one of my new favorite authors. I have been loving all of her books. This year, I did read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. Definitely going to be in my top 10 for the year. I adored this book. I really want to reread it, especially before her new book, Malibu Rising, comes out, because I believe some of the characters in here also are in that book, and I just want to be fresh in the mind and reminded of where they kind of come into the story. I also read Daisy Jones and the Six. I do want to listen to this one on audio because everybody says it's wonderful on audio, but I did enjoy reading it too. I know not a lot of people have, because it's, told in like an interview type format, and so it's a different way to read a book, but I still really enjoyed it that way. So definitely really wonderful. And then the other one I don't own, but I read After I Do. And this one I really enjoyed because it's about a couple that's already married. They've been married for a long time and they're having a hard time. And so they decide to separate for a year and see, if that's what they want to do or not. And I really appreciated that as somebody who is married and I've been with my husband for a while. Like, you have so many new romance type stories and you don't see like the love between couples that have already been together for a while. So definitely enjoying all of her work. I also have a couple more that I got for my birthday, so I'm really excited to keep reading more Taylor Jenkins Reid. Another obvious one that I knew was going to be on this list is Christina Lauren. They are actually an author duo. They wrote Love in Other Words, which I have talked about a million times on my channel. I love this book. But also since then, I've read The Unhoneymooners, and I just recently finished In a Holidays by them, and I really loved both of these stories as well. They are wonderful, and probably one of my favorite romance authors that I have found this year, and just want to read a million more of their books as well. So let's talk about one that surprised me, just because I didn't make the connection that I had read multiple books by them. All these authors, by the way, I have read 3 books from this year that I'm starting with. I think there's like 5 of them. So this one was Marissa Meyer. So I actually read Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles, and I really need to continue this series because I really enjoyed it. And then I also read Renegades and Arch Enemies, the first 2 books in her Renegade series, and I love this story. And I have the 3rd one, and I just need to read it. The first 2 I had on audio through the Hoopla app, so I was able to listen to them while I was commuting, and then I ended up having to buy this one because I wasn't finding it through my library app. And so I just haven't gotten to it, but I want to so bad because I want to know, and I'm really kind of missing these characters. So yeah, I didn't put together that I had read 3 books by her for some reason. But I definitely enjoy that her books, I feel like, are great for like newer fantasy sci-fi readers, like that are getting into the genre. I also don't feel like I see a lot of superhero novels. I don't know, maybe that's just me, but that's definitely a different concept. but I definitely really enjoy her work, and I want to read more by her for sure. Another one I didn't really think about, but I definitely have read 3 books by, is Jen Bennett. So I read Starry Eyes as well as Serious Moonlight by Jen Bennett, and I listened to Alex Approximately on audio, and I actually think I listened to a lot of this one on audio too. And I just really enjoy her books. They're just fun, light, YA, contemporary romance type books. I think Serious Moonlight is probably my favorite. I just really love the like mystery book kind of aspect to it, and the characters were really fun. And then Starry Eyes I really, really liked too. The characters were very relatable. I love camping, getting outdoors, so that one worked for me as well. And I know this is like unpopular opinion, and I still really enjoyed Alex Approximately, but that one for me was my lower rated one. It was cute, it just wasn't like totally my vibes. So I enjoy her books. I probably will still pick up more from her. They haven't been like mind-blowing. I haven't had any 5 stars from her, but most of them sit around a 4-star. And then I think Alex Approximately I gave a 3-star. So the last author that I read 3 books from was actually Saba Tahir. So another one I didn't really think about because it's one series, but I did read 3 books. I read all 3 of the first ones in the Ember and the Ashes series, and I really love this series, and the last book came out here in December, so I definitely plan to get to that one hopefully early in the new year. I'm kind of enjoying my holiday reads at the moment, but that one's definitely on the agenda really soon. Let's just not let it become a supernova. So I also have 6 books that I read, or 6 books. I also have 6 authors that I've read 2 books from this year. So one of them, starting again with, because it was in the same series, was Libba Bray. I've read the first 2 books in the Definer series, and I love the 1920s setting of this one. It's probably like my favorite part about it. But I also enjoy the paranormal aspects to it. I'm definitely into the ghost vibes and themes and all that fun stuff. Another author I've read 2 books from was Zoraida Cordova. Let's start with, oh my gosh, why can't I think of the name of the book? Okay, so she wrote Labyrinth Lost, and it's actually a series of 3 books, and I definitely want to continue with the next 2 stories, and each one follows a different sister and kind of their story and coming into their own and their powers. They are all witches, and I really enjoyed Labyrinth Lost, and I love a good witchy story, and she has a lot of wonderful witchy fantastical stories. And then I got Incendiary in Owl Crate, and this book was so good. Like, you can tell that she's getting better with her writing, and like, I cannot wait for the sequel to this one to come out. I'm pretty sure it's coming out in 2021, but it just left with this cliffhanger at the end, and you're just like, no, I have to know more. But it also gave me enough answers at the end where, like, it breaks my heart to wait for more, but at least I got something from the end. But oh my gosh, I loved this one. It had some really good political intrigue, and yeah, it was really fun. I also read a couple books from Angie Thomas. I read The Hate You Give and On the Come Up. Both wonderful books that I would highly recommend to anyone if you, not even if you want to get into more of some of the talk around Black Lives Matter, but just that you should get involved in that. And it is important, and you know, it shouldn't be happening anymore. There should be no reason that the things that happen in our world happen. So I highly recommend those 2 books. I think they are wonderful for really talking about it, but also in a fiction context, because I have a hard time picking up nonfiction books because I feel like they're going to be boring, even though that may not actually be the case. I have that stigma in my brain, so it was really good to have some of that representation in some good fiction books. I also read the first 2 books in the Wayward Children series. I definitely want to continue with these, and they are by Shannon McGuire, so that would be my next author. Another author I read 2 books from was Emily Henry. I read A Million Junes by her, which is kind of a magical realism type book. It's also a Romeo and Juliet retelling. And then I read Beach Read by her. I actually liked this one more. I know a lot of people have been loving Beach Read, but I was just an average romance for me. It didn't do anything too crazy for me. I also have The Love That Splits the World by her on my bookshelf, so hoping to get to this one. This one's also got magical realism in books that I really want to read more magical realism because I feel like it's something that I enjoy usually, but I don't have a lot of books in this genre on my radar, so maybe need to work on that a little bit. Okay, last author that I read 2 books from was Elizabeth Acevedo. So I do own With the Fire on High. This is like the most gorgeous book ever, and it is about, oh, I can never remember her name, Amoni. And she is just so strong. Like, she has a daughter that she had in high school. She's working to try and become a chef. She doesn't want to put too much pressure on her grandma who's raised her. It's just a really beautiful kind of coming of age story and talks about a lot of wonderful stuff. And it was really good. I think even more so though, I loved Clap When You Land as well. This is a really sweet story about 2 sisters who didn't know about each other, and then they're starting to learn about each other, and she does really well done character driven stories. So love her. Can't wait to read more from her. So there you go. There's a bunch of authors that I read the most from in 2020, all authors that I've enjoyed and want to read more from. So that's probably why I've read multiple books from them so far this year. And yeah, I just wanted to share with you guys on all of that. I hope that you guys very much enjoyed this video and you will like and subscribe. And I hope you also have a wonderful day, and I'll talk to you soon.